So what we're going to do is we're going to just start in a comfortable seated position. You can pull that flesh away from the sit bones, kind of feel yourselves feeling nice and grounded into the earth. We're going to start by taking our shoulders, giving them a nice shrug, roll it back, and then down. We're going to do this one more time. Nice big shrug, roll it back, and down. Good job. And our spine is nice and tall. We're lifting up through the top of the head. We're going to start with just a small meditation. So what we're going to do is we're going to rest our hands either on our knees or on our lap, kind of wherever you feel most comfortable. We will be closing our eyes, but before we do that, I just want to go over our breath cycle with you. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking nice, slow, deep inhales, really feeling your lungs expand. And then once your lungs are fully oxygenized, is that even a word? Fully full. We're going to slowly exhale until you feel the lungs empty out completely. So we're going to do just a couple rounds of that. So when you're ready, we're going to start by closing our eyes. Take in nice deep breaths through the nostrils, filling the lungs fill up completely. And once they are full, slowly exhale. And keep doing that cycle. Nice deep inhales. Slow exhales. Taking the time to notice the nature around us. Letting go of any thoughts that come in. And now let's allow our breath to come back to its natural pace. And slowly open your eyes. We're going to bring the chin to the chest. And roll the head over to the right ear towards that right shoulder, relaxing the eyebrows, relaxing the jaw. And gently bring the chin to the chest, allowing the head to hang, allow gravity to do its job here. And then roll the head over to the left ear towards that left shoulder, relaxing the eyebrows, relaxing the jaw. And bring the chin back to the chest, holding it here. And lifting the head back up, lifting the top of the head towards the sky. We're going to take a nice deep breath in while reaching our hands up overhead. And then exhale the hands down to the heart center. Let's do this one more time. Take a nice deep breath in, reaching those hands up overhead. Exhale down to the heart. Now we're going to take a deep breath in, reaching those hands up. But as we exhale, we're going to bring those elbows nice and wide, opening up that heart center. And down. Let's do this one more time. Deep breath in. Exhale wide, elbows wide. And we're going to walk our hands towards the back of our mat. Roll those shoulders back and down. Open up that heart center, gaze up towards the sky. Allowing that heart center to open up. And let's gently release and walk those hands forward towards the top of the mat, really reaching for the top of the mat here. And bringing it back up to sitting. We're going to bring that right hand down right out to the side, and we're going to bring that left hand and reach it up and over, stretching our side body here. And now we're going to take this left arm and give it some nice big circles around, really reaching that hand out towards the sky here. And now let's hold that hand up overhead, still reaching that hand up, stretching that side body. And let's lift it up. Bring that right hand down, or that left hand down, and reach that right hand up and over. And let's give that right arm some nice big circles, reaching out. Nice work. And let's hold it here, stretching out that side body. And lift it up back to sitting. Now let's take that left hand over towards that right knee. Reach that right hand towards the back of the mat, coming into a nice spinal twist. Letting that gaze come towards that right shoulder. Keeping our twist here, we're going to bring our gaze now over to the left shoulder. Continuing to breathe. Letting the head come back to neutral and twist towards the other side. Allowing that gaze to come towards that left shoulder. Keeping this twist in the upper body, let's bring that gaze towards that right shoulder now. Still lifting up through the top of the head, focusing on our breath. And bring that head back to neutral and unwind. Let's bring the bottoms of the feet together, pull the heels in towards the pelvis. Take a nice deep breath in. On the exhale, roll it forward, allowing the head to hang. And slowly lift it back up. We're going to bring those knees in together. Bring those ankles around. We're going to come into a tabletop on all fours. So here in our tabletop position, our wrists are underneath our shoulders. Our knees are at hip width, right underneath our hips. We're not slouching in towards our shoulders. We're lifting up and out. And we're going to start by doing a couple rounds of cat-cow. We're going to take a deep breath in as we drop the belly, lift the chin. And exhale, round it out, tuck the chin. Let's do this 2 more times. Deep breath in, drop the belly, lift the chin. Exhale, round it up. 1 more time, deep breath in, drop the belly, lift the chin. And exhale, round. Good job. Coming back to our neutral. We're going to walk the hands forward just slightly. We're going to tuck our toes, lift the hips, make our way into a downward dog. Here in downward dog, we're grounding down through our heels and through our fingertips. We're lifting our hips towards the sky. Our ears are right by our biceps. We're lifting up and out of our shoulders. We're going to warm up our legs. We're going to bend the knees and walk those feet out left and right. Good job. Now holding it here in our downward dog, we're going to pull that core in tight and come into a nice strong plank. Here in plank, our spine is nice and long. We're lifting out through the top of the head. We're making sure that our butt is not sinking down, but also not up and towards the sky. At any time throughout our flow today, feel free to bring those knees down in our plank. So for right now, we are actually going to bring the knees down. We're going to focus on pulling the elbows in towards the rib cage, come down through a chaturanga and all the way down to our bellies. And now we're going to come into our Sphinx pose. We're going to bring our forearms down to the mat, grounding those hands down to the earth, lifting up through the top of the head. Taking a couple breaths here, warming up the spine. Slowly bring it down, bring those hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to allow ourselves to do a couple mini cobra rolls. So what that is we're going to slowly come up into a small cobra and roll back down. So we're lifting up and then rolling down. Focusing on pulling those elbows in towards the rib cage. And now let's make our way all the way up into our cobra, rolling the shoulders away from the ears. Nice work. Let's now bring our hips back towards our heels, stretching those hands towards the top of the mat. Taking a nice deep breath here, and we're going to come into our next flow. So we're going to roll back forward into our cobra, lifting up towards the sky. And then rolling back, hips to heels. So moving through, coming up into cobra. And then back, hips to heels. Moving at your own pace. Making sure to continue breathing. Nice work. Make our way through one more cycle, meeting me back in our cobra here. Rolling those shoulders away from the ears. Taking nice deep breaths here. And let's make our way back into a tabletop. And then tuck those toes, lift the hips, downward dog. Here in our downward dog, we're grounding down through the fingertips. Trying to ground our heels down to the earth, lift those hips towards the sky. Now we're going to bring those right toes up to the sky. And we're going to bring that right foot forward in between the hands. If you need to, take your time. However you can get your foot up in there, take your time. It doesn't have to be pretty. And we're going to bring that left knee down to the mat. Reach those hands up towards the sky. So our back foot, the top of the back foot is on the earth. We're going to focus on grounding the top of that foot towards the earth, gripping down through these toes, pulling that core in tight. Good job. And we're going to take our hands and we're going to give them nice big circles, reaching out in front, opening up. Good job. Reach and open. And now let's reach and hold our hands up towards the sky, pulling those shoulders down and back. Taking a deep breath here in our low crescent lunge. Good job. Circle those hands down. We're going to bring that left hand down to the mat and we're going to take our right hand and reach it up and over towards that lower back, opposite hip crease. Taking nice deep breaths and gazing up towards the sky if it feels good. Good job. Now we're going to bring that right hand And we're going to take that right foot and we're going to heel toe out towards the side of the mat. That foot can be towards the 45 degrees here. And we're going to bring our right hand towards the inside of that foot. And now we're going to allow that knee to fall open. Our big toes will be lifting off the mat. Allow that knee to open, and if it feels good, sink a little further into those hips, keeping those shoulders pulling away from the ears here. Nice work. You can also feel free to rock back and forth if it feels good. Kind of whatever feels good for your body is what you can do today. And when you're ready, gently bring that knee back into the center. Heel toe that foot back in. And we're going to step it right back to downward dog. Connecting back in with the earth here in our downward dog. Taking a breath. And now let's do the other side. Bring those left toes up towards the sky. And however you can, bring that left foot in between the hands. Drop that right knee down to the ground. Untuck the toes. Ground down through the top of that foot. Grip down through the toes. Lift it up nice and tall into a low crescent lunge. Making sure our foundation is nice and strong here. Let's add some nice big circles in our arms, reaching forward, opening up that heart center, and reaching. Nice work. Now let's hold it here. Nice, strong, low crescent lunge, grounding down to the earth. Taking a breath. Bringing those hands down. Heel toe this left foot out to the side. Bring that left foot inside. And allow this knee to open up. Allow those toes to lift off the mat. Feel free to sink into the hips if it feels good. Rock back and forth if you'd like. Whatever feels good for your body. Now let's bring that knee back into the center, heel toe that foot back in, and let's reach that left arm up and over towards that low back, opposite hip crease. Roll that shoulder back and down, gaze up towards the sky. Good job. Let's bring it back in and we're going to step it right back to our tabletop. Here in tabletop, we're going to bring that right foot, shoot it straight out to the sky, out to the back, flexing that foot. Have that core in nice and tight. Once you feel strong, we're going to reach that left hand up. Taking a breath here, just reaching out. Nice strong core. We're going to take a deep breath in. Exhale, bring that knee to elbow. Let's do this 2 more times. Deep breath in, reach. Exhale, knee to elbow. 1 more time, reach. Knee to elbow. And bring that hand and knee back down. Let's do our other side. Left foot reaches straight out the back, flexing that foot, reaching that right hand straight up. Holding it here, making sure we're nice and grounded. Now let's take a deep breath in. Exhale, elbow to knee. 2 more times. Inhale, reach. Exhale. Last one, reach. And exhale. Good job bringing those hands back down. Walk those hands forward just slightly. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Downward dog. Taking a nice deep breath here in our downward dog. Let's bring those right toes up towards the sky and slowly bring that right foot forward in between the hands. We're dropping that back foot towards the 45 and we're going to lift it up into standing for our warrior one. So here in warrior one, our legs are on our train tracks here. Our shoulders are squaring to the top of the mat. You can sink nice and low into that front leg. Nice work. Now we're going to bring those hands behind the head. Elbows open up nice and wide, allowing that head to rest in the hands. Taking a nice deep breath. Good job. Release those hands back up towards the sky. Circle those hands down. Step it back to plank. Here in plank, remember our spine is nice and long. If you need to, bring those knees down to the mat. We're going to bring the elbows in, come down through our chaturanga, up into our cobra, pulling those shoulders away from the ears. Nice work. Let's tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward dog. Now let's bring those left toes up to the sky. Bring that left foot forward in between the hands, dropping that back heel to the 45, coming into our warrior one on the other side. Our legs are parallel, our shoulders are squaring to the front. Sink nice and low into this front leg, reaching those hands up towards the sky. And let's bring those hands behind the head, elbows wide, allowing the head to rest in the hands, opening up that heart center here. Nice work. Reach those hands back up towards the sky. Circling it down. Step it back to our plank. Now here in plank, we're going to roll our heels over to the right and reach that left hand up towards the sky. If you need to, bring that right knee down to the mat. Nice work, bringing it back to the center. And roll those heels over to the left, reaching that right hand up towards the sky. And bringing it back down. Step it back to downward dog. Now here in downward dog, we're going to slowly walk our feet forward so they're underneath our hips. And we're going to sink into a standing forward fold here. And let's slowly bring it up into standing, rolling the shoulders up, back and down. Our feet are right underneath our hips. Our toes are facing forward. We're going to come into a wide chair position. So we're going to start by lifting our toes up off the mat and then grounding those toes back down into the earth. Feeling our foot from the heel to the toes connecting in with our earth. We're going to take a deep breath in, reach those hands up overhead. And we're going to exhale down into a wide chair. So we're sinking into our chair. Our knees are over that second toe. Our heart is still lifting. Good job. Sink nice and low. We're going to bring our hands to the heart. Squeeze those palms together, activating the shoulders. So what we're going to do from here, we're going to take a deep breath in, reaching it up. And then exhale right back down to that chair. Good job. Deep breath in, lifting it up. And exhale to chair. 2 more times. Deep breath in. And exhale. Last time. Deep breath in, reaching it up. And exhale to our chair. Sinking nice and low, grounding down through those feet. Now let's lift up off those heels onto our toes. Continuing to breathe, connecting in with the earth. If it feels comfortable with you, sink a little lower. Nice work. Bring those heels down, lift it back up, reaching those hands up and down. Nice work. Now we're going to bring those feet wide into a goddess position. Our toes are facing out towards the 45. Take another deep breath in. Keeping those hands up overhead, exhale down to our nice low goddess position. We're going to bring that right hand down, palm faces forward, and reach that left hand up and over. Good job bringing it back up. Staying low in our goddess, bringing that left hand down, palm faces forward, reaching it over. Nice work. Lifting it back up, staying low in our goddess position, and then lifting up. Good job. Let's bring those feet back in underneath our hips. We're going to come into our nice, strong mountain pose here. We're going to pull those shoulders, shrug them up, back, and down. We're lifting up through the top of the head. And we're going to take a moment to connect in with our heart center. So we're going to place our hands directly on our heart. We're going to close our eyes and focus back in on our breath, taking nice, deep breaths in. Exhaling nice and slow. Feeling our heartbeat. Connecting in with our heart center. Feeling our heart pumping, feeling ourselves just being alive. Good job. Let's release our hands. You can open your eyes if it feels comfortable. We're going to slowly bring the chin to the chest and gently roll down into a forward fold. Once our hands are down on towards or closest to the mat, we're going to grab onto opposite elbows and allow our body to hang. Allow gravity to do its job here. Feel free to bend through the knees if it feels good. You can bend and straighten. Whatever feels good for you in this moment. And bring those hands back down to the mat, walk them towards the top of the mat. Let's step it back to our downward dog. And let's bring those right toes up to the sky. Bring that right foot forward in between the hands. We're going to drop that back heel so the back of the foot is parallel with the back of the mat, and we're going to stand up to our warrior two. So here in Warrior Two, our heel is in line with that back arch. Our shoulders are now squaring to these trees over here. We're reaching our hands towards the front and the back, gazing towards those right fingertips. And sinking nice and low in this right leg. Good job holding it here, pulling that core in tight, staying strong in this Warrior Two. Now let's bring that right elbow towards that right thigh or the knee, whichever is most comfortable to you, and bring that left hand up and over. Keeping those shoulders opening, grounding down through both feet evenly. Sink into that front leg if it feels good. Good job. Taking a breath. Keeping that core in tight, lift it back up to that Warrior Two. Nice work. Now circle those hands through. Step it back to plank. Keeping those elbows in tight towards the rib cage. Come down through chaturanga. up into cobra, rolling those shoulders away from the ears. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward dog. Now let's reach those left toes up towards the sky. Bring that left foot forward in between the hands. Dropping that back heel so it's parallel with the back of the mat. Come up into our warrior two. Heel is in line with that back arch. Squaring towards the parking lot. Reaching those hands front and back, gazing towards those left fingertips. Left knee is nice and low. Taking a breath here. You all look so beautiful this morning. Now let's bring that left elbow towards the thigh or towards the knee. Right hand reaches up and over. Sinking into that front leg if it feels good. Taking some breaths here. Pulling that core in tight, lift it back up to our warrior two. Taking a breath. Circling those hands through. Step it back to plank. Down through chaturanga. Up into cobra. And let's bring it back to our child's pose. So here in child's pose, our knees can be wide, our big toes are touching. Sinking those hips back down to those heels. Feel free to play with the spacing of your knees. Your knees can be nice and wide. Your knees can also be closer together. Your hips can be lifting up a little bit more or coming down towards your heels. Whichever feels best for your body is what you're going to do. We're reaching those hands towards the top of the mat and resting that forehead on the ground. Now let's walk those hands over towards the right and bring that forehead down to the mat. Stretching out that left side body. And let's bring it through to the center and over to the left. Resting that forehead on the mat, stretching out that right side body. And bring it back to the center, connecting one last time here in our child's pose. And let's bring it up into a kneeling position. We're going to do a couple rounds of a modified camel pose. So we're going to bring it up into kneeling. Our knees are underneath our hips. And we're going to bring our hands to the lower back, top of the butt area. And we're going to roll those shoulders back and down, squeeze those elbows together. Take a nice deep breath in. On the exhale, lean it back, allowing those hands to push those hips forward, gazing up towards the sky. Taking nice deep breaths in. And let's release. Rest the forehead on the tops of the hands. And let's come back into kneeling. Do that one more time. We're going to bring those hands to the lower back, top of the butt. Roll those shoulders back and down. Squeeze the elbows together. Take a nice deep breath in. On the exhale, lean it back, allowing those hands to push those hips forward. Gazing up towards the sky. Making sure we can still breathe fully. And slowly bring it back down, resting the forehead to the tops of the hands. And now let's bring it back up for our last downward dog of the class, tucking the toes, lifting the hips, grounding down through the fingertips, grounding down through the heels, lifting the hips towards the sky. Taking a couple deep breaths here. And let's gently bend through the knees, cross and through, bring those ankles around, and we're going to come into a seated position. And we're going to bring the legs nice and wide. Fix my blanket here. Here we go. And we're going to reach that right hand towards the inside of that right foot and reach that left hand up and over. And now let's bring that left hand to the lower back, opposite hip crease here. Roll that shoulder back and down and gaze up towards the sky. Take a deep breath in. And let's slowly lift it back up to the center. We're going to square those shoulders towards the leg. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, fold it forward. You can keep your hands on the ground. You can have your hands on your leg or reach through those for those toes. Whatever feels most comfortable to you. We're going to continue to focus on grounding down evenly to the sit bones. And lifting it back up. And let's reach that hand to the inside of that left foot and reach that right hand up and over. Taking a nice deep breath in here. And let's bring that hand to the lower back, opposite hip crease. Roll that shoulder back and down, gaze up towards the sky. And bringing it back up, we're going to square those shoulders towards the leg. Take a nice deep breath in and exhale, folding it forward. You can reach for those toes. Keep the hands on the ground, rest your hands on your leg, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And now let's bring it back up and gently reach towards the top of the mat for a forward fold. You can reach those hands down if you feel comfortable. You can bring those elbows down to the mat. You can just stay sitting like this, Whatever feels most comfortable for your body. Just allow our body to hang in this forward fold. Taking a couple deep breaths here. And let's slowly make our way up. Let's gently bring those feet in together, bring those knees together, and we're going to work our way down to our backs. Take this off. We're going to lay down onto our backs. And once we are down on our backs, we're going to pull those knees in, give them a nice hug, and rock back and forth here for a nice spinal massage. Keeping the knees bent, we're going to bring the feet down to the mat. We're going to bring that right knee in, give it a hug, and then straighten that right heel towards the sky. And let's cross that right ankle over the left knee for our figure 4 position. And from here, we're going to take our hands and we're going to thread them through, pulling that left knee in. You can grab a hold of the back of the thigh or all the way through to the shin, whichever feels most comfortable for you. And we're going to take some nice deep breaths, feeling the stretch in our right hip. Releasing the hands, bring the feet back down to the mat, but we're going to continue to cross that right knee over that left leg. So our legs are crossed here, and we're going to take our hips and we're going to scooch them over to the right just slightly and allow the knees to fall to the left. If having our legs crossed is too intense, feel free to uncross the legs. We're going to reach that right hand straight out to the side. Continue to gaze up towards the sky or towards that right hand. Taking nice deep breaths into this spinal twist here. Allowing our bodies to relax and feel supported by the earth. And let's slowly bring those knees back into the center, uncrossing the legs, bringing those hips back into the center as well. Now let's pull that left knee in, give it a hug, and straighten that left heel straight up to the sky. And let's cross that left ankle over the right knee for our figure 4. Thread those hands through, pull that right knee in, grabbing a hold of the back of the thigh or all the way to the shin. Taking some nice deep breaths here into our left hip. And let's release the legs. Keep crossing that left knee over the right. Bring those hips, scooch them to the left just slightly, and allow those knees to fall to the right. Feeling free to uncross the legs if that is too much of an intense stretch. Reaching that left hand straight out to the side, gazing up towards the sky or towards that left hand. And let's gently bring those knees back up into the center, uncrossing the legs, letting our hips come back into the center. We're going to do one last movement before we settle into our final Shavasana. We're going to keep our knees bent, but bring the feet about mat width. And we're going to gently windshield wiper our legs just to the left and over to the right. Moving at your own pace here. Feel free to hold one side if it feels good. Just gently moving left and right. Working on that internal and external rotation in our hips. And let's bring our knees back up into the center. We're going to make our way into our final Shavasana for a final meditation. I'm going to give you a couple options. So option one is we can keep our knees bent here, our feet are wide, and allow our knees to come in together. We can rest our hands on our bellies or on the ground. So here is option one. Or we can straighten our legs, have our legs be at least mat width or wider, allow our feet to open up. Our palms are facing the sky. Either way, whichever position you choose, we're going to roll those shoulders back and down. We're going to close our eyes. We're going to focus back in on our breath. Feeling our lungs fill completely. Exhale nice and slowly. Taking this moment to feel supported by the earth. Taking a moment to notice the nature that is surrounding us. And taking a moment to feel love and gratitude within ourselves. Giving our body thanks for all that it does for us. And taking a moment to do our best to completely relax. And now let's gently add some subtle movement back into our body, wiggling our fingers and our toes, circling our wrists and our ankles, reaching our hands up overhead, giving ourselves a nice full body stretch. Gently bending through the knees. Rolling over to one side. Taking our time, coming up into a comfortable seated position. We're going to end with a couple nice deep breaths. So we're going to take a deep breath in. Let's reach those hands up. Exhale the hands to the heart. Let's do this one more time. Take a deep breath in, reaching those hands up. Exhaling the hands to the heart. Namaste. Thank you all so much for practicing with me today.